Hair, a dead cell developing day and night constantly, is basic for each individual. Ladies invest heavily in having long, lovely, solid hair. Also, at some level, they ought to because having extraord. Hair, a dead cell developing day and night constantly, is basic for each individual. Ladies invest heavily in having long, lovely, solid hair. Also, at some level, they ought to because having extraordinary hair isn't exactly a wonder when everyone is so worried that they can't deal with themselves, and stressing over their hair is a lot to inquire. We as a whole comprehend the significance of hairs in our lives, so I won't discuss it. All things considered, we will carry the reasons into the lights that ruin and harm our hair. For each lady, hair is urgent as it upgrades their magnificence normally. Some like truly long hairs, for some short hair is the inclination. A few ladies like exploring different avenues regarding their hair, looking with changed tones, trims, styles, shapes, and so forth. While strolling not far off, you can see many styles and hair designs in the craving to appear to be unique, looking special. Regardless of whether in men or ladies, going bald has become a consistent issue with barely any down-to-earth answer for forestall the misfortune. The circumstance is like pretty much every individual out there, and it gets most noticeably terrible on account of guys on the planet. Indeed, zeroing in on going bald issues in females, there are various purposes behind going bald in ladies separated from utilizing synthetic splashes for styling, leaving dryness, frizz, split finishes, and tangled. Those reasons could be any of the accompanyings. Contamination, stress, nourishing deficiency, innate example, baldness, ailment or ailment. We should view every one of them in detail. Balding due to pollution. Contaminated air is gradually ascending as one of the main sources of going bald, particularly for those living near urban areas and the mechanical work zone. Scientists have discovered that the protein needed for hair development and maintenance diminishes because of toxins introduction. Analysts examined the impact of dirty dust particles and contaminated air over the scalp. Reports show that around 30 million ladies are influenced because of a condition called androgenetic alopecia. The specific explanation is as yet unclear. In any case, the researcher is associating this with the expanded air contamination in the U.S. The four proteins needed for normal hair development are beta-catenin, cyclin D1, cyclin E, and CDK2 that are constantly dropping as the hair is getting upheld to PM10 and diesel particulate. Shielding yourself from soil and contamination is close to unthinkable. You can even now bring down its belongings by ordinary cleaning and utilizing great quality hair items like cleanser, conditioner, hair serum, hair covers, and so on that suit you and your pocket. Stress. For quite a while, individuals didn't realize that pressure can be the purpose behind balding. Likewise, for the most part, men were the casualties of balding because of stress, yet now ladies as well. Stress is acceptable since it keeps you moving and propelling you to accomplish your fantasies, yet just to the level where it doesn't quit fooling around for your well-being. The pressure issue is that you can't generally control it, and circumstances like bills, venture cutoff times, and so forth can push the level past your capacities to deal with. Stress fills in as a quiet factor, pushing hair follicles to a resting position, and in a couple of months, the influenced hairs begin falling by just running your fingers into your hair or brushing. Stress can likewise place you in a circumstance where you begin pulling your hair from the head, eyebrows, and other body parts because of high weight. It is depicted as negative pressure, for example, strain, forlornness, and disappointment. Stress is common, yet you should take important measures to control your feelings of anxiety through contemplation, yoga, and dealing with your interests. Dietary deficiency. We as a whole comprehend the significance of nourishment and nutrients in our body to carry on with a solid life. Additionally, solid and ordinary hair development needs to give an adequate measure of food, else, it can in reality influence advancement, and you may lose your hair. Hair follicles are answerable for your hair development. Sustenance, for example, riboflavin, biotin, folate, and nutrient B12 are needed to keep up the equilibrium and to ensure that your hairs stay solid. Neglecting to give this nourishment to the body may influence your hair development and can harm also you. Nutrient B12 triggers the hair follicles to develop, which is exclusively answerable for hair development, and that is the way you get sound and solid hairs. This insufficiency can be disposed of by consistently taking nourishing food and counseling a specialist or a dietitian who will assist you with an eating routine arrangement and propose how you can recover the lost hair or forestall the one's excess. Genetic pattern baldness. Much the same as men, ladies likewise have design sparseness. In clinical terms, it is noted as androgenetic alopecia, a balding that influences ladies. The lone contrast between here is that ladies lose their hair in an unmistakable example than men. As ladies develop old, going bald is normal. An investigation says 66% of ladies go through balding after menopause. Be that as it may, the pace of hair fall is a lot lesser than men, and the greater part of the ladies will make it past age 65 with a full head of hair. Female example sparseness is genetic. It's normal in ladies generally after menopause. Subsequently, hormones are the ones you can fault on. It is in every case better to visit a specialist or a dermatologist on the off chance that you notice that you're losing hair. They will help you see if your hair fall is inherited or for some other explanation. Infection or medical condition. Losing hair is disappointing, however, what additionally baffling isn't knowing the genuine explanation for hair fall. Ordinarily, because of some ailments or diseases, people start to lose hair without knowing the specific reason. A few ailments can make your hair tumble off your head, for example, fundamental lupus erythematosus lupus, syphilis, or a thyroid issue, for example, hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Even some of the time sex hormone lopsidedness can cause going bald, or an extreme dietary issue, for example, inadequacy of protein, iron, or zinc. Substantial drug for a more expanded period likewise influences development, bringing about hair fall. Ladies will in general lose hair, particularly after the medical procedure, however, it is typically brief, and it stops after at times. Key takeaway. Losing hair is normal, so as opposed to freezing about it, you should quiet yourself and attempt to visit an expert or a hair expert who can control you with the real explanation behind hair fall. Since focusing will take you to the street, you would prefer not to travel. Going for a hair care item is likewise a smart thought if you wish for enduring lovely hair over your head. These items help you in dealing with your hair by giving dampness, strength, and, in particular, feature articles, required nutrients and supplements.